I love King of the Hill. Like any other chubby little white kid in the early 2000s, I grew up on it and it was pretty formative for me. Now obviously I don't have to tell you that 15 years in the making, we finally got a brand new season for King of the Hill, and all the excitement around it ended up bringing my attention to a King of the Hill PC game that I've never heard of until a few days ago. And no, I'm not talking about Grand Theft Auto. This is King of the Hill, the video game, developed by Fox Interactive along with Flying Tiger Development and Mondo Media. Yeah, that Mondo Media. Happy Tree Friends, Dick Figures, Dr. Tran, you get it. Released in November of 2000, it's a PC point-and-click game with 2 games packed in. Hootenanny, which is a collection of mini-games, and Texas Huntin', which is a hunting sim, so to speak. Obviously, I had to start with Hootenanny just based on the name alone. We start off in our very own brand new home in Arlen, Texas, and just so happen to be sharing a neighborhood with the rest of the King of the Hill cast. We then open a letter that allows us to pick our prefix and write our name. We then take the garbage out in the legendary alley before meeting the guys. After being introduced to everyone, Hank invites us to the neighborhood grill and asks to bring a plate of our own, or maybe just some beer.
Well, hey there, new neighbor. My name is Hank Hill. I sell propane and propane accessories. And these, gentlemen are a few of your other neighbors. This is Dale.
Don't make any sudden movements.
Bill.
Please be my friend.
And that there's Boomhauer.
Hey, what, man? They don't check an envelope. Check the envelope now. What's up, man?
Since you're here, I'd like to invite you to our block party tomorrow. It's a kind of barbecue that'll have everything you could ever dream of. But, if you still want to bring something, remember, you can never go wrong with beer. See you there.
From here we have a few options, though it seems there are 2 obvious choices. Alamo beer or the ribeyes. Obviously I'm taking the beer. Once we make it to the party, we meet Peggy for the first time. After introductions are made, she takes our beer with sarcastic appreciation, knowing it was likely a request from Hank.
Well, you must be our new neighbor. I am Peggy Hill, and on behalf of all of Arlen, I would like to say hola. That's Espanol for welcome to our annual block party. I see you did not come empty-handed. Well, more beer. Must have been talking to Hank.
Afterwards, Nancy talks to us and lets us know that throughout the day she'll be giving us the news on how the rest of the neighbors feel about us.
Hey, Shug, I'm Nancy Gribble. As a local weather reporter, it's my duty to keep people informed. And today I'll be keeping you informed by letting you know how the folks in Arlen are feeling about you. Of course, no need to thank me. I'm just doing my job. Bye, Shug.
To be honest, I'm not really sure how this mechanic works, but it's clearly doing something. First time I played, I messed up a few encounters and missed a few minigames. I'll get to that too. Nancy would tell me that my reputation so far is so-so, but on another playthrough, after talking to everyone as much as possible, doing random events, and clearing minigames, my reputation was quite high. I don't really know what adds to my reputation and what doesn't, but it's clear that it's not random, at least. Peggy shows us the schedule for the day, and this is where things get a little frustrating to me as far as how the game actually works. As you can see here, we have a scavenger hunt with Bobby, paintball with Dale, mini golf with Bill, a lawnmower race with Hank, tic-tac-toss with Peggy, and then the end of the party. Here's the problem. You can miss one or all of these minigames, and it is really, really easy to miss them. And if you do, that's it. You won't play it unless you restart the whole game from the beginning. Even if you're only a few minutes off, you will still miss out. It took quite a few tries to get all the minigames I could, and I still managed to miss some until I finally gave up replaying the game over and over. Shit!
You should be nice to me.
Get the fuck out of my way! Where's Bob? Isn't that him right there? I can't.
Did you know that
Get out of the way!
babies without the M become the anger babies?
I'm about to be angry. You have to actually wait and watch the time on your little watch in the bottom left, which I initially thought was Connie's robot arm.
And that's not just the fruit pies talk.
What is that? Is that Connie's mecha arm? Is that like her? Oh, it's my watch. When it's time for a minigame, the watch will beep and the corresponding character for that hour will approach you and ask if you want to play their game. Problem is, if you're already in the middle of a random event or are exploring the Hill household when the watch hits the time for a minigame and you aren't out on the street when it happens, you immediately miss it. And sure, it's not like you have to wait a literal hour or anything, but it's long enough that you will start to get bored and either start watching TikToks on your phone like I did, or just click around and listen to dialogue in the meantime. But again, if you get carried away doing that, you leave the chance of missing a minigame. Not only that, but it seems that every time you restart the game, the event schedule tends to change a little bit. So if you're trying to play a specific minigame, you might have to wait even longer or get lucky and get it sooner. I should point out that at the end of the game, it actually tells you how to access the specific minigames, but I didn't know that when I was actually playing through the whole thing, so I ended up wasting time anyways. Clicking on characters on screen will start a little dialogue with them. It sort of reminds me of talking to NPCs in Fallout when they just zoom in on their face.
Beg your pardon, but could I trouble you to turn over your weapons?
Honestly, a lot of the dialogue is genuinely pretty funny and well written. As far as I'm aware of, all the original cast is here reprising their roles, and they actually put solid effort into it. It really feels like a proper scene straight from the show.
My dad used to say I shouldn't talk to strange people, but then he couldn't think of anyone in Ireland that he didn't find strange.
After looking around a bit, Hank gestures to toss him a beer before his head is sliced off at the base of the neck. I really have no clue if this is normal and happened back then, playing this on like an old PC, or if it's just some corruption from trying to run on a modern system, but whatever, it's funny anyways. Now, this could entirely be user error, but I, for the life of me, could not figure out how to throw things. I thought maybe it was motion or just clicking with my hand out as far as possible. It wasn't until my last playthrough that I sorta figured out that how far you throw it is based where your hand is located. And weirdly enough, the closer your hand is to you, the further you throw it. And stretching your arm out means just dropping it in front of you. I just couldn't get it down, and you have 3 tries before they just give up on you and essentially call you a knuckle dragger for not figuring it out.
You have wasted beer. You might as well set the flag on fire now.
Oh no! I didn't mean to. I didn't know how to toss it. After that whole fiasco, I decided to go check out the Hill residence. Here you can explore most of the house except for the dining area, the closet / Peggy's workroom, the bathroom, and probably some other areas I'm forgetting from the show. However, you still get to explore quite a bit of the house, except for going into any of the bedrooms or the loft, which means getting caught by jump scare Peggy like it's an indie horror game.
What in the H are you doing in here? Please get out.
One thing I did find pretty neat was the TV in the living room, which allows you to watch a few different clips from the show. They're just long enough to actually sit down and just enjoy some iconic moments, but even better than that is you can mix your own King of the Hill YouTube poop. However, this is where I missed my first event, Bobby's scavenger hunt. After realizing how it works and getting frustrated, I restarted the game. This time I bring the ribeye, which Peggy seems to appreciate much more than the beer.
Prime rib? Woo! Well, someone sure knows how to make friends and influence people.
Once again, everyone is here for the party, but something is off with Cotton. After some time, Bill starts getting attacked by mosquitoes in what will be our first proper random event. Random events can happen seemingly at any time, even interrupting a scheduled event right before it happens. And if you select it, you once again will miss the scheduled event and will have to start over, or use the shortcut given when closing the game to access it. This random event is us squashing the bugs from Bill's back. However, I feel I did more damage than bugs would have based on all the bruises I left on Bill's neck and back. Sorry, Bill. We're beating the fuck out of it. We're bruised. Oh my god, Bill, I'm sorry. Bill, I'm sorry. Now that's out of our way, we finally go to Bobby's scavenger hunt, which in all reality is just searching through Hank and Peggy's belongings like an actual psycho while Bobby watches. Bobby makes a weird sexual pass at me.
You are fat with a PH.
What? Bobby, you can't say that to me. And then threatens me in the next note he gives me. In my parents' room is where you'll finally see the light. Bobby's gonna kill me. I'm gonna go in there and Bobby's gonna fucking kill me. Unfortunately, I didn't find everything in the allotted time of 10 minutes. After stepping back outside and waiting around for a while again, Peggy asked us to retrieve bags of ice from inside the house and refill the cooler to keep the beers cold. Obviously, I obliged, but not without sacrifice. Upon doing it, I missed my chance to play paintball with Dale, which, of course, means it's time to restart. Again. After watching TikToks for a while, we finally get to play Bobby's scavenger hunt game again. Only this time I actually win.
You're the best scavenger I've ever seen.
Let's go, we did it.
Counting Mr. Gribble.
After waiting a bit and once again failing to toss someone a beer, I decide to explore again and end up back in the alley, where we run into Boomhauer, Bobby, and Luann, who set up a word game for us that's basically Hangman, except instead of Hangman, it's just Boomhauer stripping in front of a child for some reason. I win the minigame and realize I'm probably dyslexic with how long it took me to figure out the word and head back to the party. Oh my god, it's cappuccino. I'm fucking
Neighbor, you have won a delicious fruit pie, or as the Romans called it, fruit pie of the gods.
Dale asks us to fetch back his signed football from Hank's house, which is totally Dale's, and we definitely aren't robbing the Hill house or anything. By this point, I realized that I missed mini golf with Bill. Out of frustration, I decided to not restart again, so here's a clip of mini golfing with Bill that I found online. It looks to be a pretty generic top-view mini-golf flash game from the time. I think this is a good time to point out that a few of these mini-games are also apparently available online without the need to install the full game. Go figure. After once again waiting around, Hank finally offers up the lawnmower race to us, in which we can pick our opponent and the lawnmower we will be driving. I, of course, picked Con in the hopes of hearing more Con dialogue because I can never get enough of it. I'm a bit of a stoner myself, so naturally I picked the Weedinator. The gameplay is interesting, I guess. Mow more grass than your opponent while keeping weeds from growing and avoiding obstacles like hay barrels, sprinklers, Peggy's flowers, and anthills. Once your mower is full of grass, you gotta dump it in the box in the bottom center. I, of course, win the race and feel pretty bolstered by how American I feel. I wish there was a bit more fanfare when winning, but I suppose a compliment from Hank carries more value anyway.
Not bad, neighbor. I'd like to see what you can do with a rake.
It's 4 o'clock and finally time to play some paintball with Dale. I've been waiting for this and I'm so pumped to finally play some paintball with my favorite characters, so let's...
Game over.
What just happened? It just ended immediately and Dale's talking like we actually did anything whatsoever. I missed it. Again. So once again, here is some gameplay I found online for us to indulge in.
Prepare to be gribbleized.
War is fun!
It's set up somewhat similarly to the hunting game that comes along with this, but I'll get to that later. I also found out there's a fix for this minigame with a tutorial on how to do it made by Noiseland Co., which I will link in the description if you have the desire to play this. Finally, we make it to the last scheduled event, Tic-Tac-Toss with Peggy. I'll be honest, this is probably the worst minigame of the bunch. It's fine, I guess. It's less tic-tac-toe and more Connect 4 mixed with Scrabble. However, it's not that fun, and Peggy's AI tends to crap itself and just throw letters nonsensically, or she goes off and just absolutely kicks ass, like there's no in between. We go back and forth, but ultimately Peggy beats me, to no shock from anybody, as she is the Boggle champ after all. We finally reach the end of the day at 6 p.m. where Bobby tells us we were apparently a great guest at the party, and now he wants to show us a magic trick.
You were so good at the party today that I've chosen to show you my greatest magic trick. A mystical disappearing pie of fruit. Please, close your eyes. Abracadabra. Alakazam! Open your eyes! Of course it's gone. What'd you expect? The real magic is how I maintain my svelte figure.
From what I understand, other characters can be seen at the end as well, giving a different animation depending on how well you did throughout the day. After that, the game cuts to credits. Honestly, I really didn't hate my time with it. Sure, missing minigames either by my own mistake or because another event happened was frustrating, and yeah, the minigames aren't really anything to write home about, but what really sells it to me is just hearing bits and dialogue that otherwise would have never been heard. And there really is some funny stuff in here. I think anyone who's a big fan of King of the Hill would get a kick out of just exploring the Hill House and hearing everything the characters have to say. I know that the game was critically panned back in 2000, but that was also when King of the Hill was just getting started, really. Coming back to it now 25 years later is pretty neat and serves as a nice King of the Hill time capsule. Now, I mentioned before there is 2 games packed in this whole thing. The other one is Texas Huntin'. Now, I'll be honest, I really didn't expect much from this one, especially coming off the previous game, but I ended up actually having a pretty good time, weirdly enough. We start at Megalomart, where we enter our name and continue on over to the Hill House once again to meet with the guys. Bobby's also tagging along. Hank hands us a handbook that shows us the rules, everybody's score, your current and used licenses, and all the photos of your trophy kills. Most of the rules are fluff, but a few things here are representative of gameplay rules. 4 Saturdays to compete, you have from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. to hunt, and the person with the most points wins. Hank then hands us an issue of this week's Texas Huntin' Weekly, where we can see what lease the paper recommends and then actually selecting your lease for the day. The paper recommended Hill County, so that's what I chose. Hank then tells us we can pick 8 items from the back of the truck to take with us. I actually quite enjoy the idea of picking only certain things and seeing how much it really helps you. I decided to go with the camo outfit, some buck spray, binoculars, both guns, antlers for making noises to attract bucks, an animal collar. However, there are 3 and I think I picked the wrong one based on the sound it makes. And last, but certainly not least, an absolute staple of any hunting trip, a bag of jerky. With that, we head to Hill County where we now need to pick our partner. Obviously, I gotta go with my favorite character, Dale, especially since I was robbed of my paintball match with him. Then we pick our blind. I chose number 4, which has scrapings placed in front of it. All the other blinds will be occupied by the rest of the gang and Bobby, which is funny because that means Bobby is just hunting by himself with no adults to accompany him at his blind, which is pretty funny to think about.
Look, mate, you know there's a lot of feelings. Blokes would bludgeon their wife to death with a golf trophy. Professionals have standards.
Now that we're at our blind with Dale, it's time to start hunting. First thing I do is check out the binoculars, which honestly were a little disorienting and really not that useful in the long run. I start testing the sound makers I brought, which is when I realize our caller is, well, that noise. I have no clue how much help it was, if at all. The antlers, however, seem to work, as clicking on them did seem to attract bucks. Now, this is where things get a little messy. Just look at that crosshair. It's all over the place, like I have a really bad case of cerebral palsy. How am I supposed to hit anything with this? It's even worse when animals are far away, making it near impossible to hit them. So I started only focusing on things that were passing right in front of me. This is why I didn't really need the binoculars by this point, because anything I could see out in the distance wasn't going to be murked by me, that's for sure. I honestly don't know if it's supposed to be like that, like maybe I'm supposed to steady my aim, like holding your breath in Call of Duty, or maybe it's another byproduct of running this game on modern hardware, but either way, it definitely ruined the experience for me a little bit. After so far not being able to hit anything, I decided to use the buck spray and see if it helps at all. What I didn't realize is there was a limit to the usage of buck spray, and eventually I use it all up for the day. I check on Dale, who seems to just be watching for deer. Come to think of it, I don't see anything else on Dale's side of the blind. How is he gonna compete? Throw rocks at him? Pocket sand, maybe?
Pocket sand.
Still waiting for my first prey, I decide to eat the beef jerky. It disappears after one click and doesn't seem to do much of anything else, besides some chewing noises. Totally worth one of my 8 slots, by the way. After missing a few more animals from far away, we finally bag our first buck. A start to what will soon end up being a very successful day. Eventually, I start hitting all sorts of deer and hogs, racking up a bunch of points. Oddly enough, after checking the score, it appeared that I was the only one scoring anything. Everybody was still at 0. In fact, they all remained at 0 for the entire day. I don't know if this is because it was only day 1, or if they're just naturally slower at getting shots, or if this is once again a bug caused by playing on a modern system, but either way, it was kind of a bummer. It stopped feeling like a competition and more like everyone else was watching me go on a serve-a-day massacre. By this point, I realized that you can actually move to other blinds and spend time with the other characters, so naturally I went to go see what Hank was up to, before once again setting up to shoot. After bagging a few more trophies, Hank states that he finally got one.
Well, what do you know about that? Chalk one up for Hank Hill.
Except after checking the scores, he's still at 0. Once again, I really think it's a bug and not intended. Before the day ends, I decide to head to Bill's blind and see what he's up to.
Hey, don't come in here unless you have cheese puffs.
Sorry, Bill. I already ate all my snacks in one click. Near the end, I somehow managed to get a kill from further away. Call it a skill or luck, but I finally nabbed one from that far. Not long after, it finally hits 3 o'clock, which means it's time to pack up and head home. Hank offers to go hunting again next weekend, but this is where I decided to stop. It's not bad, but the bugs that persist definitely dampened my enjoyment, and also I didn't really feel like recording more of the same for another 2 hours or so. The days during hunting go on for a while. That being said, I don't completely hate it. I got some fun out of it, no doubt. Once again, though, I think the main reason for playing it in the first place, and the reason I still had a good time, was just because of hearing dialogue from the guys I otherwise would have never heard. The ambient noise while hunting, although on a pretty short loop, was actually pretty relaxing. It made it pretty nice just hanging out, hearing occasional witty dialogue, and shooting some trophies here and there. It's not great, but not the worst thing I've played from the set either. Tic-tac-toss. I suppose that's how I feel about the entire game in general. It's not really all that amazing, and it's riddled with bugs in the modern day, but it's still charming as hell, and its age is only added to that. The dialogue from the original voice actors, mixed with some really witty writing here and there, the ambience throughout, and the secrets to find make it an interesting experience for any die-hard King of the Hill fan. Above all else, it's pretty crazy that this thing even exists, and even more crazy that I've only heard of it up until recently. It's super easy to get a copy online, considering it's now abandonware, and with a few fixes here and there, it makes for a nostalgic, cozy, true red-blooded Texan experience. And for that, I recommend it.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I bet they're expecting that theme song right about now. They ain't gonna hear it.
Nope. No.
Uh-uh. King of the Hills moves to Tuesdays at 8 p.m., 7 Central.
Yep.
Yep.
Are we supposed to just stand here and drink beer till Tuesday?
Yep.
I knew this day would come.
Catch a full hour of King of the Hill, Fox Tuesday.